Planet is up 62% in the past 5 days. I mean, the stock went nothing but down for like 2 years pretty much. And now all of a sudden it's starting to go up again, right? And not just in a slow manner. 62% in 5 days is monumental. So what's going on here with the Planet, and what's my opinion of this? Well, they made a huge announcement, okay? So Planet's buying this Florida company named Vitacan for $48 million. Planet has announced they're buying a Florida-based Vitacan LLC in a deal valued at about $49 million. The deal also gives Vitacan member a seat on the board, and Vitacan shareholders will end up with about 26% ownership in the Planet. Now, first thing I thought about is I'm like, okay, that's a big deal. I hope Planet's not parting with cash to get this deal done. And we'll get into that in just a moment, because Planet has like last time I checked, it was like 40-something million in cash. They had a really strong balance sheet for the size of the company. And I'm like, we better not be parting with all that cash. We'll get into that in just a moment. According to the statement, Vitacan, which I hope I'm pronouncing it right, I might not be, but anyways, Vitacan currently operates 26 locations and is the 9th largest network in Florida. The company said that Planet 13's 3 locations in Nevada and Florida, in their upcoming location in Illinois, 4 leased locations in Florida, and the proven superstore and experiential retail experience. The proposed acquisition has the potential to enhance both absolute and per-store revenue generation. Quote, acquiring Vitacan would significantly accelerate our time to market and, more importantly, scale in Florida, which it seems like Planet's really focused on Florida. Like, just seeing kind of what they've been working on in Florida, it seems like they're clearly the most bullish on Florida than any other market in the United States. Clear as day, okay? Vitacan is one of the top 10 largest operations in Florida by retail network size, and we believe it has developed a reputation for high product quality and customer service, says Larry Scheffler, co-CEO of the Planet. We are excited to bring Planet's retail and product brands to Florida consumers after the closing of the proposed transaction, especially with the possibility of upcoming adult use legalization, he says, okay? Now, what are the kind of the details on the financial front here, and then I'll get into my opinion, okay? Well, the deal consists of, thank goodness, only $4 million in cash, $5 million in promissory note, 78 million shares in Planet common shares, so obviously a big dilution. And there's 2 ways to look at this. One is, it's not great to dilute shareholder value when the stock's 50 cents a share, right? On the flip side, all MJ stocks have been destroyed, and so I could tell you if this was 2 years ago, Planet would not have been able to pull off this deal for $49 million. I could tell you that. If this was 2 years ago, this would have been $120 million, $150 million, $175 million deal. Wouldn't have been $49 million. Vitacan will continue to have $3 million in bank indebtedness and $1.5 million or less in related party notes from the Florida Vitacan owners at the time of closing. Quote, we believe their ability to run lean, efficient operations in a cultural and strategic fit with Planet 13's company-wide philosophy and operations in other states, said Bob Grossbeck, the other co-CEO of the Planet. We laid out a set of goals at the beginning of the year, including using cost-effective M&A to accelerate time to market in Florida. We believe we are executing on our goals and setting Planet up for a stronger company in 2024. In addition to the stores, Vitacan also owns a fully operational greenhouse cultivation facility with a processing and analytical lab, which at full capacity has a potential to support more than double the amount of the combined Planet and Vitacan basically locations network in Florida. So that's pretty exciting, right? Now, what's kind of my opinion in regards to this, right? Well, first off, I have only 2 stocks I own in this space, right? And this space has been devastated. Like, everybody left this, Jack Jackson space, let's just call it that. All these stocks have been kind of in a bottoming out, kind of forming phase here recently. A company like Planet has a very different, I think, objective than a company like Avant. Avant seems like they're very focused on, obviously their growth is insane when it comes to Avant, but it seems like they're much more focused on export markets and having some really successful high-end brands and getting the profitability. It seems like Planet wants to set themselves up so they are like the most well-positioned company in the world when federal legalization comes. That's just my interpretation of kind of watching what Planet's up to here. I think that's what they're trying to do. I'll just be honest. That's what I think they're trying to do. We'll see if they're able to pull it off, but someday we're going to have federal legalization, in my opinion. And when that day comes, it looks like Planet could be the most well-positioned company, honestly, in the entire space to capitalize on that, because a lot of the other players have gone under or they got way too indebted and they just, they got too excited too fast. So just call it that, where Planet's been kind of patient. And now they're pulling off this deal for this operator that I can tell you they're getting, there's no way they could have pulled off this deal 2 years ago if for the price they just paid. I mean, it would have been ridiculous how much they would have needed to pay because all these companies' valuation. Planet sat around, they said, we'll wait, we'll see what happens here. Valuations came down massively and they pounced, right? So I'm open to the idea. We'll see how it works out. We'll see how the integration is. I'm not too excited. I'm also not too down. Bob and Larry have done a great job with the company over time. And, this was a company that could have went bankrupt and should have went bankrupt during Rona, when all of a sudden they had one location at that time, and that one location was shut down. Like, that was insane. And to see them get through this and now pulling off deals like this, these guys have come a long way in the past, I can tell you, 3 or 4 years. A long dang way. And so we'll see how it all plays out. I remain optimistic, but we'll see. Whirlpool Corporation, WHR on this one. Now, Whirlpool is a funny one. Forward P is a 9 on this company. Now, never expect Whirlpool to usually trade at super high forward Ps. Like, it's almost always going to be under 20, and sometimes when it's very discounted, it's going to be under 10. This is a stock that in the past 5 years is up like 10%. But the thing to keep in mind with Whirlpool, right? All their numbers have been bad recently. But keep in mind, it's going through one of the worst housing markets in the history of housing markets, literally. When you look at existing home sales, the only time period in the past 25 years we've been lower than this was during the great financial crisis and during the housing bust. Let that sink in for a moment, right? Obviously, the existing home sales are not going to stay down here for all of eternity. They're down here now. It is what it is. But I highly doubt they're going to be down here for the rest of eternity, right? And we're probably going to go through a much upped cycle in future years. Maybe it starts in 24, maybe it starts in 25. We'll see what happens. But Whirlpool is actually a company that would be very positively affected even if home prices came down. And the reason being is we need to lower interest rates and free up inventory. Because right now, a lot of people are just sitting on their homes that are sitting on 2 and 3% mortgages, 4% mortgages. And so right now, mortgage rates being 7% plus, a lot of people aren't moving right now. It's not going to stay like that forever. Let's just put it that way. If you think they're going to stay like that forever in terms of rates, I think you might be mistaken there. So rates will eventually adjust. Existing home sales will eventually open up here, and company from like Whirlpool will definitely benefit from that. But they're feeling the effects of interest rates being where they're at right now, and they'll continue to until inventory kind of frees up here. Okay. I appreciate everybody joining me as always. Thanks so much for being here. Thanks so much for being subscribed, folks. If you're looking to apply, join my private group. Check out the description area down there. Also have it as a pinned comment. You can fill out an application. We see if you're a good fit to join us in there. Much love and have a great day.